Okay, for the last few decades, you'd be hard-pressed to see a funny movie or TV show that doesn't involve the comedy genius of Will Ferrell. This lovable oaf busted onto our TV screens in the mid-90s and has been making us belly laugh ever since. Whether you prefer his classic SNL sketches or the characters from his films are more your speed,
There is no fire!
Everyone can find something to love about this iconic comedic actor. So grab your cowbell and come see how good I look, because this is Will Ferrell, the best parts.
Hey everyone! Come and see how good I look!
The mid-90s were kind of a meh time for SNL. The show certainly had its high points, but it didn't quite have the star power from years prior. In other words, SNL had a fever.
Guess what? I got a fever!
And the only prescription was more Ferrell. From the very beginning of his tenure, Will's high-energy brand of comedy, where he created classic characters that could turn on a dime, completely changed the energy of SNL and launched the show into one of the greatest eras in its 40-year history. We all remember the dad who drives a Dodge Stratus,
I drive a Dodge Stratus!
the foul-mouthed Dr. Beeman, Ted Brogan, the 37-year-old baby,
It was hot in there!
and of course, Gene, the cowbell player for Blue Oyster Cult. These characters run the gamut of lovable to sleazy, but the one thing they have in common is what Ferrell does best. They're all naive and a little over the top sometimes, yet somehow feel like real people. And the characters aren't just conceptually hilarious. Will's performances in these sketches are completely unique to him.
I say tick, 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 boom, dynamite!
He is able to push his facial expressions to the extreme, but even in his more subtle moments, he can project a sense of unearned confidence that barely hides true ignorance.
Now I remember, I'm the one with the job.
This talent serves him well when impersonating Harry Carey, Robert Goulet, Alex Trebek, and the 43rd President of the United States, George W. Bush.
I've been trying to drink more water and this makes it fun.
These impressions may not contain the technical precision of fellow SNL cast members Daryl Hammond, Jay Farrow, or Dana Carvey, but they capture how we may feel about these people. If you weren't a fan of W, I'm sure you thought he was vacant, inarticulate, and struggled with even the simplest joke.
I don't know what that was all about. But I will tell you this. Don't mess with Texas.
All elements perfectly reflected in Ferrell's now iconic impression. But Will is truly in his element when he's building a completely new character from the ground up and creating an absurd situation around that character.
I fight for your rights as a human being. I've sued over 2,000 canines, and I'm willing to do it for you.
Dog show host David Larry, voice immodulation syndrome sufferer Jacob Silge,
Thank you, Colin.
and who can forget the vigorous lover, Professor Roger Clarvin. All of these sketches stand the test of time.
Somewhere in the distance, we heard the pounding of native drums.
Because of the amazing character Ferrell created. On the surface, these people seem insane and larger than life, but he's able to perform them with such depth you feel like they're people you could actually encounter that are just too crazy to make up. This amazing talent is undoubtedly what launched Ferrell's career as arguably one of the most successful comic actors of the last 20 years. There's the overly confident Ricky Bobby, the lovable Buddy the Elf,
I love you, I love you, I love you!
and of course the self-obsessed Ron Burgundy? But the films that contain these characters are only vessels. The best example of this is probably the intro to the film Anchorman, The Legend of Ron Burgundy, which is simply Ron warming up for his evening broadcast.
I love scotch. I love scotch. Scotchy, scotch, scotch.
In reality, this is basically its own character study. Ferrell is exploring Ron's voice, and the audience is getting a crash course in who this person is.
I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen. Cannonball!
Not to mention, it's downright hilarious. Ferrell's investment in his creations allows him to go out into the world completely in character, Sacha Baron Cohen style. Ferrell has done complete interviews, late-night appearances, and even public events in character, totally comfortable and able to improvise as these people. This commitment makes the films that contain these characters so much funnier. And with his online venture, Funny or Die, Ferrell and his comedy buddies have experimented with comedy that may be too edgy for SNL or not fully formed enough for a feature film. The Green Team will haunt my dreams. Watch out for Will's evil landlord, and I'll never get Bat Fight unstuck from my head.
It's the right mood for a bat fight. Bat fight, it's anyone's game.
This platform has also given rise to other comic talent. If it wasn't for Funny or Die, we wouldn't have the amazingly awkward interviews from Between Two Ferns. Despite all of this, Will Ferrell himself seems like your mild-mannered minivan dad. When he's not in character, he seems unassuming and gentle, and like he could make a mean burger, you know? And that may be the best part of Will Ferrell. He appears to be normal, but all of his creations are anything but normal.
I'm happy to talk about, anything. But I don't want to talk about my personal life, okay?
Even his more down-to-earth characters, at first glance, seem fine, but could turn on you at any moment.
I will punch you in the face if you don't get off the shaft!
In a way, Will Ferrell is the anti-everyman. He's juxtaposition personified, which is probably why he's gut-busting hilarious, regardless of whether he's acting relatively normal or flying off the handle. What are your favorite things about Will Ferrell? Let us know down in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel, because we'll be back here every week talking about all our favorite stuff and the best parts. Thanks for watching.